The distress beacon pulsed through the void like a dying heartbeat. Leo Martinez, salvage operator of the Wandering Star, nearly ignored it. Nearly. But something in the signal's rhythm spoke of desperation, and despite 5 years of hardened cynicism in the outer colonies, he couldn't turn away. What he found changed everything. The escape pod was Valorian. He recognized the elegant bioluminescent hull immediately. The empire that controlled 70 star systems didn't lose ships. They didn't send distress calls. They certainly didn't drift helplessly through human-controlled space. Leo brought the pod aboard, atmospheric equalizers hissing as the airlock cycled. When the hatch opened, 3 pairs of enormous violet eyes stared up at him. Children. Alien children, no more than human equivalent of 5, 7, and 9 years old. Their skin shimmered with the characteristic silver patterns of Valorian nobility, and their fear was unmistakable. "Please," the eldest whispered in accented standard. "Don't hurt us," Leo's heart clenched. He lowered his plasma cutter, raising empty hands. "Hey, it's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm Leo. What are your names?" "I am Lisa," said the eldest, pulling her sisters close. "This is Myra and Sarah, our ship. There was an attack, pirates. They killed our guards. We escaped, but we don't know where we are." Pirates, of course. The outer colonies were crawling with opportunists who'd kidnap Valorian nobility for ransom. These 3 would be worth a fortune. Leo made a decision that would define the rest of his life. "You're safe now," he said firmly. "I'll protect you." The days that followed tested every skill Leo possessed. The Wandering Star wasn't equipped for passengers, especially young ones. He converted his cargo bay into a makeshift living quarters, jury-rigging environmental controls to match Valorian atmospheric preferences. The girls needed specialized nutrition, so he bartered and traded at every questionable station they passed, never revealing his precious cargo. Elsa Chen, his occasional partner and the best pilot in 3 sectors, joined them at the Kepler station. She took one look at the 3 silver-skinned children and raised an eyebrow. "Leo, what have you done?" "The right thing," he said quietly. Elsa studied the girls, who watched her with cautious hope. Then she smiled. "Then I'm in. These kids need more than one guardian." Together, they became something neither expected: a family. Leo taught the girls about human resilience, how to fix a malfunctioning reactor with spare parts and determination, how to navigate by dead reckoning when computers failed, how to turn a meal synthesizer malfunction into edible food through sheer stubbornness. Elsa taught them about human creativity, improvised games during long jumps through hyperspace, stories from Earth's ancient past, and the peculiar human habit of finding joy in the darkest situations. The girls flourished. Little Sarah lost her nightmares. Myra's laugh filled the ship's corridors. Lisa, who'd shouldered impossible responsibility for her sisters, finally learned to be a child again. But Leo and Elsa knew they were living on borrowed time. Someone would come looking. 3 months later, someone did. The Valorian Imperial fleet materialized from hyperspace like avenging angels, 50 warships that could each glass a planet. The Wandering Star was surrounded in seconds. Every weapon system in the sector trained on their tiny salvage vessel. A transmission burned through every frequency. "Return the princesses immediately, or be destroyed." Princesses. Not just nobility, royalty. Leo's blood ran cold. In the cargo bay, Lisa gripped his hand. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I couldn't tell you. I was afraid you'd send us away if you knew." "Never," Leo said fiercely. Elsa nodded agreement, hand resting protectively on Sarah's shoulder. The Imperial shuttle docked with brutal efficiency. Soldiers in ceremonial armor poured through, weapons ready, and then she entered. Empress Thara Velvaloris, sovereign of 70 systems, was terrifying in her majesty. 7 feet tall, crowned with bioluminescent filaments that writhed like living flame, she radiated power that made reality itself seem to bend around her. She looked at her daughters, alive, healthy, happy, and something cracked in her imperial composure. "My children," she breathed. Then her gaze snapped to Leo and Elsa. The temperature in the room dropped. "You, humans, you stole the royal princesses." "No," Lisa stepped forward, voice clear. "They saved us. When we were hunted, when we had nothing, they gave us everything. They protected us. They loved us." Myra and Sarah rushed to support their sister, their combined testimony a chorus of gratitude and affection. The Empress studied Leo and Elsa for a long, terrible moment. Two humans in worn jumpsuits standing defiant before the most powerful being in known space. She could obliterate them with a thought. Instead, she knelt. The gesture sent shockwaves through her soldiers. The Empress of Valoris knelt before no one, but she knelt before Leo and Elsa. "You protected my daughters when I could not," she said, voice thick with emotion. "You asked for no reward, expected no gratitude. You simply cared. This is the humanity I have heard of in legends, the species that runs toward danger to save strangers, that gives everything for those who have nothing." She stood, and when she looked at them now, there was no threat, only profound respect. "Name your reward." "Anything in my power." Leo and Elsa exchanged glances. Then Leo spoke carefully. "Let us visit. Let us stay in their lives. That's all we want." The Empress smiled, a real smile, not an imperial expression. "You shall have more. You are hereby named guardians of the royal blood with all honors and protections. You will visit whenever you wish. And when my daughters speak of their heroes, they will speak your names." 3 months later, Leo and Elsa attended the royal ceremony on Valoris Prime, where they were granted lands, titles, and honors. But the best moment came afterward, when 3 princesses tackled them in an unroyal pile of hugs and laughter. They had protected 3 lost children. And in doing so, they had reminded an empire what humanity meant.